Welcome back to the channel. Today we are actually just going to be taking a look at Ubisoft, and we are going to be specifically analyzing some of the issues that may be at play and kind of just retroactively looking at some of the decisions and mistakes that have led to their current position, I guess that's a good way to put it. I'm going to be going into releases and strategies from their investor reports and things like that. So we're going to be just objectively looking at some decisions that Ubisoft has made that has probably just not been very beneficial for them in hindsight.
Yes. What? You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
All right. So first up, we are going to just kind of look at their recent launch history, and we're going to talk about some of the issues at play with the recent releases, as they haven't really had many big hitters. Their best performing experience currently is Siege, which obviously was not released recently, and that speaks volumes. Now, among some of their most recent releases, specifically Outlaws, majority of the user reviews, nearly half, are completely negative, and it failed to meet sales expectations according to their own investor reports. So that one objectively, not to mention the controversy surrounding the game, which, regardless of your opinion on it, high amounts of controversy around your releases is obviously not good for stock price when you're publicly traded and your investors are already potentially upset at some of your business decisions, and now there's a bunch of controversy that they have to deal with. You know, advertisers and investors, they kind of just pull out the second there's any controversy or any backlash of any kind or anything like that. So also Far Cry 6, which is the worst rated Far Cry game to date. Now, it's not like it's a horrifying experience or anything like that, it's just, it does not stray from the carved out. What am I even trying to fucking say right now? You can also just take a look at the trends of user and critic reviews for the Far Cry series in general from Far Cry 3. They just obviously get worse and worse and worse over time. And it's a popular franchise, so the reviews trending downwards over the years either shows franchise fatigue, which is possible, or just a general decrease in quality, right? So all right, this one we don't need to talk about very much, but Skull and Bones. Obviously, what was it? Reimagining the pirate experience, or forget everything you know but the traditional pirate fantasy. I think that was it. Absolutely dead on arrival. I remember looking back at the Steam charts and it was under 200 players. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I will pull up what it has been as of making this video. But obviously, anybody can see that Skull and Bones was not what anybody was expecting or wanting, and they already had a very successful formula set with Black Flag, so people loved that experience, and it was a good pirate game. So I don't know how you fail that spectacularly. But also X-Defiant, surprisingly, I actually did play this one quite a bit. I liked it. Obviously, it wasn't anything like game-changing or anything. It got pretty stale after a while. I'm not playing it now, but I played it at launch for a few weeks, and I thought the gunplay was kind of fun. And if they cared for it, they probably could have gone places. But in hindsight, now it is being canceled after barely 6 or 7 months in release, and obviously, after claiming recently that they were having no problems and were not going to be shutting down, they got a wave of new players who bought various editions of the game, and they would only be refunding one specific edition, the Legendary Founders edition. So if you bought any other version at all, you are not getting refunded. And they told you they weren't going to shut it down. So in my opinion, that is a scam. Regardless, that is a lie regarding refunds for players, which a financial lie that's a scam, right? Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. It was not a horribly received game. However, there was a very, very common trend if you go and look through the reviews, and that is that people are saying that it was a beautiful game, but that it was very boring. The story there wasn't much action, I didn't play this one either because why would I? But there wasn't much action. The game was quite bland and boring, and it was a very common theme a lot of people complained about. So the game was entirely held up by the art team, who were working overtime on that one, because obviously if you look at some footage of it, the game is beautiful, but that is not what makes a game good. Now, another recent-ish, is Assassin's Creed Mirage, which got very middling reviews, kind of mixed. There was about 33%. Last time I checked Metacritic, it was about 33% low, like negative, 33% high, positive, and about 33% middle of the road. So very, very mixed. And had rough voice acting. The story was considered some of the worst in the Assassin's Creed franchise, which is saying something. Now I'm just going to read a bit of the synopsis of the story of Assassin's Creed Mirage, just to go over.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer. Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost. Won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you?
I mean, I don't really know what to say about that one. Yeah, that doesn't seem horrible off first glance, but that also doesn't really capture my attention in any way. Regardless, it's pretty safe to say that Assassin's Creed Mirage was not a master blockbuster hit that they were expecting. Neither were any of the recent titles that they were expecting. Some of them had some decent sales numbers, like Avatar, but again, it was nothing spectacular, and the reviews were, again, not very spectacular. They had the higher reviews. Avatar, rather, had higher reviews than most of the other games that we covered on this list, but it still wasn't very great. And it was all of the positive reviews were mainly just referring to the art and the art style and the game world. So that is just entirely being held up by your art team, right? That's not exactly the quality of the game that you're producing. Maybe give a raise to your artists, though. And obviously, it's very clear to see after taking a look at all of this that their only really, really well-performing title right now is Siege, and that is their main income source as well. So, if you take a look at their investor report, their early investor report for 2024-2025, you'll see that it mainly references the income from Siege. However, if you look at the previous full annual investor report, they actually had an entire section of their investor report dedicated to corporate social responsibility. It's kind of funny, but in a document that's all about finances and everything, they just have a complete breakdown about their responsibility as a corporation and building a positive social impact and other random garbage jargon. But basically just virtue signaling for investors while everybody's already pulling out and your stock price is crashing. I don't know. I find that a bit funny. I'm not one to just kind of point and laugh at things and call it woke or anything, but I think it's hilarious that your main focus isn't just, we really need to focus on getting a stable income source and improving our PR with the gaming market as a whole. No, you're like, we need to focus on our corporate social responsibility while we're being taken over by Tencent. I don't know. Yeah, really, we gotta focus on corporate social responsibility and make sure you remind the gamers that they should be comfortable with not owning their material. I hate owning games. Why would I want to own my video games? That's ridiculous. And now recently, the two brothers that own Ubisoft, they've been fighting to basically retain control of the company from Tencent, who's been pushing to buy Ubisoft as the stock price tanks to just over like $2 or 2 Canadian last I checked. I'll put that up, but absolutely crashed. So And then obviously there's the public perception of Ubisoft. If you just look up Ubisoft on any social platform, majority of what comes up that isn't from corporate accounts is just going to be like people either complaining about a release or asking why certain things have happened in a certain way that is negative, or asking what happened to their favorite franchise. Like when I was looking into Far Cry 6 and its story, there was multiple Reddit posts where people were just like, what happened to Far Cry, man? And it's just, you feel kind of bad, because like there's clearly just no effort being put into these franchises, right? Or these games in general. So Ubisoft is just pushing out Ubislop, you know? So obviously the public perception is probably at an all-time low. I can't think of a time when Ubisoft was regarded any worse in the gaming community as a whole. I mean, they're just kind of a meme at this point, right? The way I think that they could fix this situation, and I don't mean the company in general, but I mean like the two brothers, your best bet is probably to just sell the company at this point. Unless you're going to get advisors that actually you listen to. This is entirely based on their decision making, right? They fire people or won't retain people that require good salaries, but those people are the ones that you depend on for making good experiences most of the time. And now they might have promising artists, right, that are still good, but stories and narratives and voice acting and all of that matters, right? And obviously you pay some top talent for like the big voice actors, but certain franchises just get left out on that, right? Like if you look back at Mirage. But yeah, so in conclusion, we've gone over multiple reasons why Ubisoft has been failing, both in their public perception, public relations, and their actual, like financial-wise, their stock price has never been lower. So we've gone over multiple game releases. They haven't really had any massive hits, and they have been dumping massive budgets into these not very financially viable titles, right? Triple A, quadruple A in some cases, that are just absolutely wastes of money. Like there's no point, there's nothing that really, quality-wise, that you can see in Skull and Bones. It's a horrible example of what they were trying to push as a quadruple A title. There's like that's such a disaster. You really couldn't playtest that yourself and realize that this was not going to be received as a quadruple A experience among the gaming market. Like, give me a break. There's no way you didn't know. So there's lots of reasons, and if you dig hard enough, you can obviously find more. And depending on your opinions on certain controversies that have happened recently, you'll very easily just point and say, oh, it's this, it's that, right? But I'm not here to go over that. I just wanted to focus on some of the financial aspects of why they've been failing recently, and some of the public perception reasons, but not a lot of the controversy, because I don't know, I think it's stupid. If you look at their stock, it's been on a decline for a long time, and it is not just because of one or the other controversy. It's the result of a lot of poor decisions from the leadership. So it's not like the ground floor devs that are being whipped for barely over minimum wage are at fault for this, you know? But it'd be like investors and leadership. So I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, as it helps with growth on the channel. And we don't have any ads here, so see you guys.